This video explains the commissioning and function of the TireMoni STM-520 TPMS Connector and the TireMoni TPMS Connect smartphone app. Here you will first see a system description and information about what the system can do. The TireMoni TPMS Connect app is then introduced and the functions of all controls and dialog boxes are shown. You will then see the initial commissioning, then the operation of the system, and finally you will find the ordering information for the different system variations. The TireMoni STM-520 consists of two parts. First, there is the STM-520 TPMS Connector, which establishes the connection between your tire pressure sensors and the smartphone app. And then the TireMoni TPMS Connect app, which processes the data received from the sensors on your smartphone or tablet and with which you can set up and program the entire system. Of course, the tire pressure sensors are also a required part for the functionality of the system. If you already have sensors in the tires from the vehicle manufacturer, you can easily get the sensor data on your smartphone using the STM-520 and the app. If you don't have tire pressure sensors from the factory yet, you can buy the STM-520 as a retrofit kit complete with sensors. The designation with sensors is STM-520SXI, where the X stands for the number of sensors. The system works with 2 to 8 sensors. The TireMoni sensors are available with metal valves in silver or black. The easiest way to install the app is to use the QR codes on this page. To do this, pause the video and scan the appropriate QR code with your smartphone. Here you can see the controls of the TireMoni TPMS Connect app. The icon at the top left shows the connection status to the STM-520 Bluetooth module. If it is black or white in dark mode, then the connection is active. Gray means no connection is established. The logo also serves as a button. This allows you to switch between light and dark mode. You can close the app with the icon at the top right. In the middle you can see the wheel positions and the sensor information cards showing tire pressure, temperature, and sensor status for each wheel. In the center you will see the vehicle symbol for your vehicle, and at the bottom above the menu bar the pressure unit and the temperature unit are displayed. You can change these by tapping them. At the bottom of the app you will find the menu bar for configuring the TireMoni TPMS Connect app. The first menu item is used to select the vehicle type. Here you have a few options for finding the right vehicle with number of tires ranging from 2 to 8. Simply tap the vehicle icon or swipe up and down the list. In the speaker menu you can switch the alarm tones and announcements on and off. When you leave the menu with closed, the settings will be saved. You can make all other settings in the gear menu. You can select your language by tapping the flag. Additional languages appear when you swipe right or left. You can set the warning thresholds for pressure and temperature of your tires. You can display the device information for the STM-520 TPMS Connector module. For commissioning, you can select your vehicle type with make, model, and year of manufacture and use this to program the STM-520. Last but not least, you can also pair your tire pressure sensors with the STM-520 TPMS Connector here. The warning thresholds are set separately for each axle. This gives you maximum flexibility for your vehicle. You choose the axle with the axle selector. Using the switch below the axle selector, you can set the maximum measurement range so that it suits your sensors. Normally you can leave it at 6 bar. If you use sensors for commercial vehicles or construction machinery, set this to the maximum value of 13 bar. This means that the adjusters for the pressure warning thresholds will change accordingly. Using the 3 adjusters you can individually set the pressure warning thresholds and the temperature warning threshold for each axle of your vehicle. We recommend setting the lower pressure warning threshold approximately 0.3 bar below your cold inflation pressure and the upper pressure warning threshold approximately 1 bar above your cold inflation pressure. The temperature warning threshold should be somewhere between 60 and 75 degrees Celsius so that you are warned in good time if a tire gets too hot. In the Show Beely Device Info menu you can see the version information of your STM-520 TPMS Connector module. This information is intended for service purposes. The buttons below can be used to update the software and firmware of the STM-520 and restart the module. Only use these features if requested to do so by customer support. In the Set Vehicle Type menu you can program the STM-520 so that it can receive the data from your vehicle's TPMS sensors. The selection menu for the vehicle manufacturer opens first. Here you can swipe up or down to scroll. Once you have selected your vehicle manufacturer, the menu for vehicle models will open. There you select your vehicle model. In the next menu you will see the different model years for your vehicle that are equipped with tire pressure sensors. Select the appropriate entry for your vehicle here too. The app then connects to the internet and downloads the relevant information for programming the STM-520 and then transfers it to the device. If you cannot find an entry for your vehicle, then that means that it is not equipped with tire pressure sensors. If you are sure that you have sensors in your tires, please contact our customer support. We will then enter the missing vehicle type in our database. If you are using the STM-520 as a retrofit system, you must make sure that your sensors in the STM-520B are programmed to the same vehicle model and model year. Otherwise, the STM-520B will not recognize the sensors. In the Sensor Learning submenu, you can connect your tire pressure sensors to the STM-520B TPMS Connector. You have two options for doing this. You can select these options using the Manual Learning toggle. If Manual Learning is activated, you can enter the sensor IDs, that is the identification numbers of your sensors, manually. To do this, tap on the respective card and the input dialog for the selected sensor opens. You can enter the sensor ID here using the keyboard. If your sensors have a QR code with the sensor ID, you can also scan the QR code here and capture the sensor IDs in this way. To do this, tap on the QR code icon to the right of the input field. Then the scanner opens. The app asks for permission to use the camera. Without this, the scanner will not work. By tapping Done, the entered value is saved. Close leaves the input dialog without saving the ID. Back in the sensor settings menu, the entered value can be seen above the associated card. If Manual Learning is not active in the sensor settings menu, the STM-520B tries to recognize the sensors automatically. To do this, tap a card and then activate the associated sensor either with a trigger tool or programming tool or by deflating the associated tire. The learning progress is displayed in %. As soon as the sensor has been learned, at 100%, the next sensor learning process can be started in the same way. This is how you proceed for all your wheels or wheel sensors. If the learning process was not successful and an error message appears, you can simply repeat the process for this sensor. In some situations, it is helpful to restart both the app and the STM-520B. The successfully learned sensors are retained when restarting. In the information menu, you will find information and direct links to the manufacturer TPM GmbH. If you tap on the address, the navigation will be opened directly. If you tap on the web address, the TireMoni app website opens. If you tap on the phone number, you can directly call TireMoni support, and if you tap on the email address, you can write an email to support straight away. This means that all info fields are active buttons with which you can start the corresponding action immediately. The current version number of the app is displayed at the bottom of the dialog box. Now you will see the recommended steps for the first commissioning of the system. We assume that your vehicle already has tire pressure sensors. If this is not the case, you must first have the sensors programmed and installed. First, power on the STM-520B. The device has a USB-C socket. So you need a USB port in the vehicle and a USB-C cable to connect the STM-520B and the USB port. If the STM-520B is in operation, the LED on the device will continuously slowly flash green. Now set the vehicle type in the settings menu, that is select manufacturer, model and year of manufacture as shown previously. Next, pair your sensors with the STM-520B. If you know the sensor IDs, you can enter them manually. If not, it's best to use the automatic learning function. The STM-520B may now display some nonsense values because it has not yet received any data from the sensors. Don't worry, the values will be updated as soon as the first data telegrams are received. This should have happened after a few minutes of driving. But before you drive off, you should set the warning thresholds for pressure and temperature for your vehicle for each axle. I showed you how to do this earlier. Just go back there again. We recommend setting the lower threshold approximately 0.3 bar below the preferred cold inflation pressure and the upper threshold approximately 1 bar above cold inflation pressure. The best way to set the temperature warning threshold is between 60 and 70 degrees. In case you receive false warnings later during operation, you can adjust the warning thresholds without it affecting any of the other settings. Once you have completed the initial commissioning, your TireMoni system will function almost automatically from then on. To operate, you start the TireMoni TPMS Connect app. It searches for the last used STM-520B, connects it, and almost immediately displays the data from your tire pressure sensors. You can see the successful connection by the black or white connection icon and by the fact that the pressure icons for the tire pressure data have a check mark or an exclamation mark. If the app does not find the last used STM-520B, for example because you are driving another vehicle, the connection will not be established automatically. The connection icon at the top left is grayed out. In this case, tap on the connection icon and the device connection dialog will open. The Bluetooth modules that are within range are displayed there. Select your STM-520B TPMS Connector module by tapping the link icon on the right. During operation, you will see all your wheels displayed at the same time on the main screen and the pressure and temperature values for each wheel. These are continually updated as you travel. The icon at the top left shows the status of the Bluetooth connection. It should be white or black as a signal that the app is receiving data from the STM-520B. If the pressure or temperature of a sensor reaches or exceeds the set warning thresholds, the color of the displayed values and the associated symbols changes and the app informs you about the problem with warning tones and announcements. If you don't yet have an STM-520B TPMS connector or want to retrofit the system, you can find the ordering information here. STM-520 TPMS Connector is the Bluetooth module used for connecting the TireMoni TPMS Connect app with your vehicle manufacturer's tire pressure sensors. STM-520 SXI-S or -B are retrofit kits consisting of the STM-520B TPMS connector module and internal tire pressure sensors, where the X stands for the number of sensors. -S stands for sensors with silver-colored metal valves and -B stands for sensors with black metal valves. You can order the parts in the TireMoni online shop at the internet address, shop.tiremoni.com. Simply use the magnifying glass to open the search field and enter STM-520. And if you have any questions, just contact TireMoni support. You can find our phone number or email address in the app or on our website, www.tiremoni.com.